Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Heroes Show. We got Cory here with you in this video, and the week has finally arrived. Nerds can rejoice. Fans of square format video can rejoice, because we're finally reviewing Zack Snyder's Justice League on 4K Blu-ray. So, this is a movie. It wasn't a movie for a long time. A lot of people said this movie does not exist. Zack Snyder shot this movie. He left said movie due to a family tragedy. Joss Whedon took over. They, well, for lack of a better term, they butchered it and turned it into a studio hack that barely made anywhere near enough money for what Warner Brothers wanted it to be. There was a fan uprising and a movement. I believe the hashtag was Release the Snyder Cut. Lo and behold, Warner Brothers listened. They saw a cut of the film. They liked it. They said, hey, you know what? We have this new streaming platform, HBO Max. We want something to pop subscriber numbers. Here we go. So Zack Snyder's Justice League is a real thing. It premiered, I want to say, in March on HBO Max. It was either March or April. And obviously, a lot of people really liked it. Spoiler alert. I really like the movie. I think it's much better than the theatrical version. You can check out our full review where we talk about the film at length. I'll put a link in the description for that. But this is going to be just about the 4K Blu-ray because that just released yesterday. So it was an HBO Max exclusive for a long time. It released a couple months ago on physical media in the UK, but I think because of some form of contract stuff, it had to stay on HBO Max in the US exclusively for a little while longer before we were able to get the physical release. So I have the physical copy of just Zack Snyder's Justice League. There is also a new box set of the Snyder trilogy, which is Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which is the new version with the IMAX scenes and the better color grading, and the Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. So let's look at the packaging. There are some things of note here. Very nice slipcover. I like the way this looks. Packaging is the same as the slip on the casing. When you pop this guy open, you'll see here, normally you get a code, a digital code for redemption of the movie. With this, you do not. You get a QR code that basically tells you if you want to watch it digitally to go check it out on HBO Max. So if you are looking to add this to your iTunes or Vudu or Movies Anywhere collection, that's not going to happen for right now. Who knows? Maybe somewhere down the road it will. But if you buy this disc, that is simply not going to be the case. On the left-hand side here, you've got the standard Blu-ray, and then on the right-hand side, you've got the 4K Blu-ray. Of note, this movie is so long, being 4 hours and change in length. It is split up over 2 discs. They are stacked on top of each other. It's a pain in the ass to try to get them out, so I'm not even going to try to do it on camera and embarrass myself. But note that disc 1 is in there, disc 2 is underneath it. This is kind of annoying because I feel like it's easy to scratch a disc if you're not careful, and if you're clumsy like me, that could be something that happens. Also of note, on the HBO slip, it talks about the Justice is Gray edition. Snyder did do a full black and white grade of this movie. It is not included on this physical release. That is only on HBO Max as well. So Warner's and AT&T, they're going to get your money one way or the other. So nice little package though, not bad. Cool looking discs. It's neat that they split it over 2 discs. They are 100 gigabyte 4K discs, so they are cramming a lot of data into both of those. I think the split happens shortly it's right at the end of part 4. The movie is broken up into 6 different chapters that makes it easier to digest because of its length. And right after part 4, right at the beginning of part 5, there's a little pop-up on the screen that says Justice continues on part 2, and then you gotta pop that disc out, put in the second disc, and you get the third act essentially of the film is on the second disc. So tech specs on this one is native 4K. It is shot 35 millimeter. It is in a 1.33 to 1 aspect ratio, which means there is going to be pillar boxing on your screen. And most folks, you're used to black bars on the top and bottom of your screen when there's something that's in a widescreen format, like a 235 or 239 to 1 aspect ratio. This is a little bit different. It's going to fill your screen from top to bottom, but the left and right sides are going to have black bars. For me, that didn't bother me because I have an OLED television. If I turn all the lights out, the edges of the display basically vanish anyways. So for me, not a big deal, and it does make some of the scenes seem quite a bit more epic because they're just so tall. Instead of kind of being squished down like a widescreen format, everything looks big. So it is standard HDR, so there is no Dolby Vision, so you're just going to use regular HDR when you pop it in your player. It does have Dolby Atmos though, which we'll get to, which is pretty cool. So it lines up just the same as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Regular HDR, Dolby Vision, or no Dolby Vision, with a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. So to talk about the video, I was expecting this to look very good because the IMAX scenes that are pillar boxed in the new version of Batman v Superman are also very good, to the point where it almost ruins the widescreen shots in that film for me. The IMAX stuff is so insanely clean and so sharp that when it switches back to the widescreen format, those look very grainy, a little bit soft, not quite as much pop as you get from the IMAX stuff. Thankfully, this entire film is in that aspect ratio, so very, very, very high resolution. Everything is tack sharp. There is a ton of detail everywhere. Every single hero, their costumes are incredible. So whether it's Batman or the black suit on Superman or Aquaman, there's a ton of detail on his attire. Wonder Woman, you can make out everything, like her headpiece, the lasso of truth, everything just there's detail everywhere, which is pretty amazing. And then even on the villains too, like Steppenwolf got a redesign for this. If you saw the theatrical version, wasn't great. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about that old version of Steppenwolf. Thankfully, he looks awesome in this, and that translates very well to the 4K disc. Weta Digital provided the VFX for this. They actually had to take the files, because this film was shot back in 2016. They had upgraded their software after the theatrical version of this came out. So they actually had to transfer all the files from the filming of this and put them into their new software, and then redo a bunch of stuff, clean up the VFX, and then do the stuff for the very few additional scenes that Snyder shot over the last 18 months or so for the 2021 release. But it looks fantastic. It looks epic in every sense of the word. It is extremely sharp. Very happy with it. It is a little bit of a dark film. There are a lot of muted colors. If you've seen Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. However, with this 4K HDR presentation, when there are brights, so whether that's explosions or whenever the Flash runs on screen and you can see the Speed Force just spiraling around him, or when Cyborg lights up, the lasso of truth, Superman's laser eyes, all of that stuff really pops, because the rest of the film is so dark that when it goes bright, it goes really, really bright. So almost like you have to kind of squint a little bit, like you had a sour lemon, because the brights are so bright. But that's one of the beautiful things of HDR. It really does change the spectrum in which you're viewing the film. Shadow detail is great. There might be a little teeny tiny bit of black crush, but that could just be the way that the film is graded. Snyder is known for being very stylistic, and that could just be the approach that he took on that. But so for video, I think I'm going to give this one like a solid 8.5 out of 10. I think it looks really good. It was substantially better than the HBO stream, which had just a lot of banding and noise, and I compared the two once the disc came in, and the disc just completely blew it away. So 8.5 out of 10. Moving on to audio, again, comparing it to HBO Max, it's literally like the stream on HBO had about half the dynamic range of the disc. This is one of those ones with every movie that has come out on HBO Max this year, whether that's Godzilla vs. Kong or Mortal Kombat or this or there's a couple others I can't even remember off the top of my head. But watching them on HBO when they first came out, it's like, okay, I want to watch this because I don't want to be spoiled. And then by the end of it, I was like, man, the audio kind of sucked on that. Very happy to report in that the audio track on this is a behemoth. There is so much surround activity. In a lot of films, when it breaks down to dialogue-driven scenes, you really just get a lot of fronts down stage. So your left, your center, your right are active, and the surrounds take a little bit of a breather. And some films, your height channels don't even get engaged. In this one, everything is nonstop. This movie is mostly action sequences, and whenever those are cranking, it's going to be very loud in your home or your dedicated theater space. It feels like a very cinematic experience, which is wonderful. Some height stuff, when Darkseid jumps out of his ship in the Age of Heroes sequence, you can hear him come all the way down from the heights down to your level. What else? There's when Wonder Woman throws the bomb up in the air in the beginning of the film, it travels all the way through the sound stage, which is great. When Bruce is trying to recruit Arthur to the cause, he flies back to his airplane on a helicopter, and the helicopter has a really great Atmos-y type effect too. And then anytime the parademons are flying around, they're in your entire room. So a lot of really cool stuff there. LFE, got to talk about that too. I love these Warner Brothers releases. They are hefty. There's a lot of bass. Anytime Steppenwolf, Desaad, and Darkseid speak, it's like Steppenwolf's voice is very deep, and then Desaad's is even deeper, and then Darkseid's is even deeper than that. Just their voices will rattle the walls in your house. And then anytime there's, Batmobile or an explosion or, something that happens with, when Superman takes off and flies, you get really, really nice slams of bass that they're not overdone. They just feel nice and heavy, and they really add to that theatrical experience, which is fantastic. So this is definitely a killer track. I don't know if it's quite as insane as the Batman vs. Superman track. I'll have to revisit that to see, because I remember that being pretty bombastic as well. But it's just like the other two films, very aggressive Atmos mixes, definitely something that you can use to demo to your friends. I would say it's not quite as loud as some of Warner's other recent offerings. I think Godzilla vs. Kong is a little bit more intense, and I recently rewatched Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring on 4K Blu-ray, and those soundtracks blew me away in a way that most other films haven't. So either way, very, very good audio mix here. Again, obliterates the HBO offering. So if you're looking for the best way to watch this movie on both the video and the audio side, it's definitely on this disc here. So for audio, I'm going to go 9.2 out of 10. I thought it was that good. It was very immersive, just great across the board. Had a smile on my face. Felt very much like a kid checking it out. It's a very comic booky movie. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. So really, really excited to check it out a couple more times and kind of check some spots over again and dig in a little bit deeper and compare more to the HBO stream just to see how different the two are. But I would absolutely recommend this if you're a fan of Zack Snyder, if you're a completionist, if you're a fan of the DCEU. This is kind of, to me, this is his magnum opus when it comes to the DC stuff. I dug Man of Steel and BVS a good amount, but I think this is by far his best of the three. So if you're looking to buy any of them, I would say this is the one. It's got really pristine video. It's got a great audio presentation. It's a fantastic disc, and it's something that for a movie that we didn't even think was going to be a movie ever, to be able to hold it in your hand and know that it is real and it does exist. And you know, whether Warner Brothers likes it or not, you can ignore the 2017 theatrical version now, and this can be your headcanon if you so choose. I think that's great, and it gets a high recommendation from me. So would love to hear from you guys. Drop us a comment below. Let us know what you think. Have you checked this out on HBO Max? Are you planning on checking it out on disc? If you've done so already, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If I came across as a babbling idiot, let me know. Want to improve? Love that feedback. So also, while you're here, if you'd consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your notifications, and sharing with your friends, it's absolutely free to do, and it helps us out. We appreciate that tremendously. So we will be back later today. Gonna have a Marvel What If video. We have a Ted Lasso preview video for episode 8 coming Thursday. We're gonna talk about the Wheel of Time teaser from last week as well, and then we're going to review James Wan's Malignant, and then just keep on going from there. So please make sure to stay tuned to all of those things and so much more. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.